What is up, guys? It is Marcus from Perspective Sports, and today is our playoff reveal and my playoff predictions. And so, when you look at these predictions, just know it's gut instinct. We hadn't had a chance to see any of these teams play, and so just remember that, and don't try not to get too mad at me. And so, without further ado, let's look at the AFC first with the AFC standings. And under the new playoff format, only one team will be getting a bye week, and that will be the Kansas City Chiefs after a 12-4 year. And as you can see here, that the Jaguars are the worst team in the AFC, followed by the Bengals. And then you see the Titans just missed the playoffs at 9-7. And so this will set up a very exciting AFC wildcard weekend. And let's take a look at that. In the first matchup, you have the Patriots traveling to play the Baltimore Ravens, then the Colts traveling to play the Bills, and then the Steelers traveling all the way down south to play the Houston Texans. And here's how I think this will play out. In the first matchup between the Patriots and Ravens, I'm giving that matchup to the Ravens. I don't think the Patriots have enough firepower to be able to, number one, contain this Ravens team and then contain them on the road. And so I'm giving this playoff game to the Baltimore Ravens. Then we have the Indianapolis Colts falling to the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills defense, they're outside, they're in the cold. They're going to be able to get after this Colts team. And so I'm giving this to the Bills. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Houston and knock off the Houston Texans. I think the Steelers defense will be too much for this Texans offense. And I think the Steelers offense with Big Ben, he now has all his weapons back, will be a little bit much for the Texans to handle. And that sets up an AFC divisional weekend of the Buffalo Bills traveling to play the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to play the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is where it gets interesting because I'm picking the Buffalo Bills to knock off the Baltimore Ravens on the road in the postseason because when you look at it, we haven't really seen the Ravens rise to the occasion. We saw them get beat by the Chargers. Last year, they got done by the Titans. And if the Bills can keep this a low-scoring game and keep this Ravens offense in some kind of check, I think the Bills can win it. And so I'm going to select the Buffalo Bills to make it to the AFC Championship game. Then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers falling to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I like the Steelers defense a lot. And I think that in this kind of game that it would be a fun game to watch in the first half, and the Chiefs would just kind of slowly pull away from the Steelers and make it back to the AFC Championship game. And that sets up the number 3 Buffalo Bills traveling to play the number 1 seeded Kansas City Chiefs for a spot in the Super Bowl. And that spot will belong to none other than Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs, who will be repeat AFC champions. And now let's move over to the NFC. And the number 1 seed and the team getting the bye week is the San Francisco 49ers at 12-4. And if you look around a little bit, you can see the Washington football team is the worst team in the league at 3-13 and will be on the clock with the number 1 overall pick. And comment down below what you think they should do with that pick if they do get it. But if you keep looking around, you see there's a 10-6 team, a very good 10-6 football team that did not qualify for the playoffs. And that goes to show just how tough the NFC conference actually is and how the importance of winning your division may play a factor as the season wears on. And so this will leave us with a very exciting wild card weekend. You'll see 2 divisional rivals playing for a third time, and then you have the Seattle Seahawks traveling to play the Dallas Cowboys. And so when you look at this, Buccaneers Saints Part 3, Vikings Packers Part 3, and then you have 2 very tough teams in the Seattle Seahawks traveling to play the Dallas Cowboys. And in the first matchup, we have an upset. You give Tom Brady a third look at the same team, playoff Tom Brady. It's hard for me to pick against him in this situation. He's in a dome. Everything is pretty much in the right place for Tom Brady. There's no elements. He's in a dome. He's playing against a team he's played twice already. He's had all the film he needs. We're going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to upset the New Orleans Saints. Then we have the Green Bay Packers taking care of the Minnesota Vikings. If you look over the history, last couple of years, when the Packers are healthy, they don't usually lose to the Minnesota Vikings. And then we have the Seattle Seahawks taking out the Dallas Cowboys. And this comes down to experience. Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, Mike McCarthy's in his first year with the Cowboys. He got them to the playoffs, but the Cowboys don't particularly show up in the playoffs. That's been kind of the thing hanging over their head for the last 2 decades or so, or at least in the entirety of my lifetime. And I don't see that changing this year because they're playing a veteran Seattle team with Russell Wilson. It's hard for me to pick against Russell Wilson. He's seen it all. He's been there. He's done that. Yes, the Cowboys have a very good football team. Yes, they have a very good roster. They have a good coach. But I don't think this is the year they get the monkey off their back. And so we're going with the Seattle Seahawks. And that makes a divisional round of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to play the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks traveling to play the Green Bay Packers. And so in the first matchup, we have the San Francisco 49ers taking care of business against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this 49ers team is just flat out hard to beat. When you look at their roster, they're bulletproof. You can't really pinpoint a major spot of weakness on this 49ers team, offense or defense. And so I think the 49ers are going to be able to hold off Tom Brady in the high-powered Bucs offense. Then we have the Green Bay Packers falling at home to the Seattle Seahawks. And this is going to come down to who's going to be able to air it out, because both of these teams are going to want to run the ball, and that's what they're going to try to do early on. But as this game wears on and they have to open up, I trust the Seahawks receivers a whole lot more than I trust the Packers receiving core. And I know the Packers have the best receiver on the field in this game in Devontae Adams, but when you look at the core around them, Seattle's is a whole lot more deep than the Packers receiving core. And when it comes time to pass that football, I just think Seattle's going to be able to do it better than Green Bay. And so that sets up a NFC Championship game of the Seattle Seahawks versus San Francisco 49ers, Part 3. And I think this is going to be one for the ages. When you look at each time these teams play each other, it's always a fun football game to watch. And now everything's on the line. Who's going to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Is Kyle Shanahan going to get his second chance at Andy Reid? Or is Russell Wilson going to be able to get his team back to the Super Bowl? And I am going to pick the San Francisco 49ers to win, setting up a rare, only done once, between the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills, back-to-back Super Bowl rematch in NFL history. This will be the second one, and it will be a good one. The Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers, two high-powered offenses. Who will prevail? And I am going to pick the San Francisco 49ers to hoist Super Bowl trophy number 6. Kyle Shanahan gets the monkey off his back. Third time's the charm. And it came down to defense for me. Which defense will be able to make the play late in the game? And I think San Francisco will make that play. Now, I think this will be another very good Super Bowl. I think the offenses will come alive. But down the stretch, who will make that one or two plays to change the tide of this game? And I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers to be my Super Bowl LV champions. And so let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you think the Super Bowl rematch won't happen just because it just never really happens? Who do you have in your Super Bowl? Who do you have in your playoffs? I look forward to reading and replying down in the comment sections below. See you there.